Hello, Tracy.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. And welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2026, Tracy. And before going to start your session, I want to introduce you to our audience.
Thank you.
Tracy is a serial entrepreneur, transformational speaker, certified hypnotherapist, and founder of Rise Again Phonics, blending ancient wisdom with modern healing as a retired physician, assistant, and a licensed attorney. Drawing from hypnosis, past life regression, and sacred teaching, she inspires women to reclaim their joy, power, and purpose through heart centered storytelling and spiritual depth. A priest of the rose, mother, mystic, and visionary, she guides others to awaken their divine remembers and rise again with joy as their compass. That was a wonderful bio, Tracy, and the stage is all yours.
Do you have my slides?
Yeah, please give me a minute, please. Yes, Tracy, please go ahead.
Okay. I'm seeing like a whole screen. It's not actually like the presentation. And somebody said that you guys would be able to flip them if I could just call out the slides when to turn them. I don't know how to even do that on here. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So thank you for that generous introduction. I'm honored to be here. I want to acknowledge the incredible leadership and intention behind this space. I know creating space for meaningful growth conversations isn't always easy, and it's something I deeply value. So if you can go to the slide 2. So before we dive in, I want you to think for a moment. Have you ever woken up already tired, already rushed, mentally running through everything that could go wrong today? Nothing dramatic happened. You just woke up tense. By 9 a.m., you've already snapped once. By noon, you're just overwhelmed. And by the evening, you're replaying conversations in your head, wishing that you'd handled them differently. Then you tell yourself, tomorrow, tomorrow I'll do better. But tomorrow looks exactly the same. That's exhausting. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Tracy Liberatore. I began my career in medicine over 20 years ago, and for the past 6 years, I've specialized in subconscious reconditioning, helping people recognize inherited patterns and unlearn what was truly never theirs. I'm the founder of Walk as Her, and my mission is healing the mother, because when we heal the mother, we not only heal the present, but we also clear ancestral patterns. We heal the past, and then we heal the future. Because a mother who is healed raises self empowered, conscious children. Next slide, please. And here's what I know with certainty: what feels like personality is often a pattern. And patterns can be changed. And when that pattern shifts, People just handle things better. Next slide, please. When someone starts their day already overwhelmed, they don't move through that day calmly. They move through it reactively. Small things feel bigger than they are. Patience run thin. Conversations escalate faster than intended. Later, they replay it over and over again, and they promise they'll do better tomorrow. But tomorrow never seems to come. It usually just feels like more of the same. And what most people quietly assume is this is just who I am. So let me say this clearly. What feels like personality is often a pattern. It feels automatic because it has been reinforced over time. But people don't choose this consciously. These responses are learned. And what is repeated becomes familiar. What is familiar starts to feel normal. And what feels normal eventually begins to feel like identity. Most of the patterns that shape our lives operate quietly in the background. They are shaped by the environment we grew up in and the behaviors we adopted in order to cope. When something runs quietly long enough, we stop questioning it. And this is what I call the silent inheritance. Slide 4, please. Next slide. Thank you. What I'm describing isn't just theory. Research in psychology and neuroscience shows that stress patterns, emotional reactions, and coping behaviors are often carried across generations through biology and through what is modeled and repeated in the home. Long before children develop language, they're reading tone, sensing tension, and adapting to the emotional climate around them. Over time, those adaptations become habits, and habits, when practiced long enough, begin to look like personality. Children don't just inherit eye color and maybe their skin color from their parents. Maybe they might get some of their money, maybe their house, but they also inherit emotional patterns. Studies on attachment and integrational trauma demonstrate that anxiety responses, hypervigilance, and conflict styles are often replicated without conscious awareness. In my work over the past 20 years, I've seen the same pattern surface again and again. The way someone reacts under pressure often mirrors what was modeled for them long before they formed their adult identity. Different circumstances, different stages of life, yet the same underlying response shows up. Slide 5, please. So do you remember the big TV? You know, the one we had with the big, huge frame. At least that's what we had when growing up. It had about 12 channels and no remote. You remember the big TVs like that? I know you remember fighting over who had to get up to change the channel. That's something I definitely remember. So there I am, 5 or 6 years old. And I remember just lying on the floor, staring at this box. We were watching a movie together. I don't remember what I was watching exactly, but I do remember feeling the sadness, and I felt the tears that welled up in my eyes. Just a normal human reaction. But instead of comfort, I was met with, "What are you crying about, you crybaby? Only weak kids cry. There's nothing to cry about." And sometimes during other moments where the situation was more electrifying, I would hear, "Keep crying, and I'm going to give you something to cry about." And studies show that when the body feels tense or unstable, the brain asks, "What does this mean about me?" Because if it's about me, maybe I could fix it. Maybe I could behave better. Maybe I can make this safe somehow. Blaming the self feels easier to control than believing the world is unpredictable. And that's huge. Children are wired for attachment. Psychologist John Bowlby showed that our nervous system is built around one core need: connection. So if something feels tense or distant or unstable in the home, the child's brain makes a decision. And that decision is almost never, "Oh, my parents just overwhelmed right now." It's more like, "Oh, it must be me." because blaming themselves feels safer than risking disconnection. Attachment theory shows us that children will protect the bond at all costs, even if it means believing something painful about themselves. And those early conclusions don't just disappear, they become the beliefs running our adult lives. So the 5-year-old thinks, did I do something? And we think that ends at 5, but it doesn't. It grows up. And now you're 45 and you're still feeling responsible for everything. So even in a quiet living room, during something as ordinary as a movie, sadness wasn't safe. It was mocked, belittled, and threatened. And when that happens enough, the child doesn't think this environment's unhealthy. The child thinks there must be something wrong with me. And that's exactly what happened to me. I learned to adapt. I learned that tears were weakness, that being strong meant being silent, that expressing emotion made me small. And my nervous system quickly learned that sadness was dangerous. So fast forward a few decades, I could be sitting in a movie theater completely safe. And if something emotional happens on the screen and I feel the tears well up, my body still reacts. My chest tightens, my throat constricts, my stomach drops, and that anxiety washes all over me. This is not just some mild discomfort, it's real fear, as if something terrible is about to happen, as if I'm about to be shamed or cast out or punished logically. And I know that's not true, but my body doesn't run on logic, it runs on memory. And that's the silent belief I inherited. Even after years of personal work, even after studying medicine, after working in subconscious reconditioning, I still feel that reflex. The difference now is awareness. Sorry, I forgot about the slides. We're supposed to be on slide 7. The difference now is awareness. Awareness and the time it takes to release it. Because now, when it happens, I pause. And I consciously remind myself, it's safe to feel. It's safe to cry. Sadness is not weakness. Human emotions are normal. And I actively reparent that part of my nervous system that starts going into panic. And here's the part that really matters the most. Because of my awareness, I will not pass it on. My children will never be belittled by me for feeling. They will never be threatened for expressing sadness. They will never associate tears with danger. In fact, I tell them openly, it's okay to feel and it's okay to cry because we are human. And this is all a normal part of the human experience. And as uncomfortable as it sometimes is for me, I let them see me cry. So they will learn from my example, not just my words, because children don't learn emotional safety from lectures. They learn it from what is modeled. Now, I can't control everything that comes into their world. And I know that somewhere, at some point, somebody might tell them that crying is weak. Someone might tease them or repeat the same phrases that were once repeated to me. Not because they're cruel, but because that's what they were taught. That's what was modeled for them. And you see, that's how the silent inheritance works. It moves quietly through generations till someone sees it. And all I can do, all any of us can do, is make sure that in our home, in our presence, they learn the truth and they learn it early. Emotions are information. Tears are not weakness. And that feeling deeply is not something to suppress. Instead, it's a gift. It's something to understand. Slide 8, please. And my hope is that if the world ever tells them otherwise, the truth that they learned at home will be louder. It will stay with them, that it will carry them safely into adulthood. Because that is how the inheritance shifts. Not by controlling the world, but by changing what is modeled inside of our own walls. And this is how we change the silent inheritance. Not because the imprint never existed, but because it's seen, it's interrupted, and consciously rewritten. Slide 9, please. So I want to invite you into this for just a moment. I'm going to close your eyes and take a deep breath in for 4. Hold for 4. And then release for 8. And settle in for just a moment. And bring your awareness inside. And just begin to kind of scan your thoughts briefly. And just think. Think of a moment, a memory from your childhood. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be traumatic. Just whatever surfaces first. A moment that stands out. And ask yourself one question. What did I feel in that moment? Not what happened, not who was right or wrong, just the feeling. Feeling in your body. And if you're comfortable, share one word in the chat. Just the feeling. Because the feeling is often the beginning of the pattern. I cannot see this chat because this type is very small. So I'm not sure if anyone's responding here. Don't see anything coming through quite yet. That's fine. You could sort of sit with that. So if whatever came through, you could finally identify that part of you that was sort of born out of the reaction. And so that part is only something that's there to protect us. It's not just personality. Instead, it was created out of survival. Well, survival responses, once they're seen, they can be reshaped. And that was the problem for me. For years and years, I didn't realize that I was reacting to something I learned. I thought it was just who I was. I thought I was just sensitive or anxious or wired this way. But I wasn't reacting to the present moment. I was reacting to something that had been rehearsed in my nervous system day after day, month after month, year after long year. It was something in my nervous system that I learned early on in order to stay safe. Survival responses are incredibly intelligent when you're 7, but they can be quite limiting when you're 40. It's not something we consciously choose, something we quietly absorb. And this is what I'm calling the silent inheritance. See, when I began studying stress psychology and subconscious patterning, and when I started working with clients, I saw the same structure everywhere. Different families, different industries, different personalities, but the same pattern underneath all of it. A childhood feeling, a decision about the self, a coping strategy, and then repetition, just over and over again. And here's the hardest part. Most of us don't even realize we're doing it. We think we're reacting to what's happening in the now, but often we're reacting from a decision that was made years ago, a decision that once helped us survive, but might not be necessary anymore. And that's how the silent inheritance works. It repeats, and until we see it, we keep living it. Slide 10, please. When we're kids, we're forced to take timeouts. And now, as an adult, I look forward to them. So I came up with this emergency kit. So when I get stressed and I need a moment to implement the strategy and just to get back to myself, I go to the bathroom, close the door, because I know that nobody's going to come in there and bother me. So if you're feeling stressed out, you can go to the bathroom and take a timeout too. So pull out your phone now, and you can scan this QR code. I don't see the QR code for some reason. I thought I added it to the slide. I will get that to you guys. So I created an emergency kit for you guys, and it's designed to help you begin to shift. And so someone could probably message me if you're interested in getting a copy of it. It's just 3 recordings. They're very short. You can keep them on your phone and use them in times of need. There's also a Walk as Her app that I will be loading them onto, so you could get them there as well. Just 3 short, powerful audios you can use in real time, so you don't just understand your patterns, you can start to regulate it. So use it often. It's your immediate support when life spikes. If you notice that you're ready for more than just temporary relief, when you're ready to stop managing the symptoms and start changing patterns, that's when we could step into the full work. When you step into the next level, you'll permanently break the silent inheritance. You'll feel clearer and in control more consistently. And I would be honored to work with you. Thank you for sharing this time with me today. Let's see if there's any messages here. Okay, so we got one comment for fear. Any questions that anybody has? Okay, I don't know how I do it on time either, but that's all I have for today.
Yes, Tracy, thank you so much for your valuable presentation. It's wonderful. And we have a few questions from our audience, Tracy. I want to ask you one of them. How does maternal regulation affect generational patterns?
How does maternal regulation help affect generations? So if the mother heals herself, she's healing the now, she's in the present. And the work that we do clears contracts that have been carried through generations from our ancestors, right? And these things get passed down. And so when we clear those patterns from here in the now, it heals the past, heals the present, and then the children are our future. So a conscious mother that has healed and cleared herself will not be passing that on to her children. So we're also healing the future.
Thank you so much for answering the question, Tracy. And thank you so much for a valuable time today.
Thank you. Sorry about the slides. Thank you so much.
And please be on the backstage and join in this session, Tracy.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.